living crisis, and a debate that some people say isn't a debate because isn't it sort of obvious. Families are going to be £1,900 poorer at the end of this Parliament compared with the beginning, a think tank has revealed.
The Resolution Foundation said this government would set a grim new record for living standards going down.
And today we're debating, has the government lost a grip on the cost of living?
Head of Financial Analysis at AJ Bell, Danny Hewson, joins us. Good morning. And former advisor to the Bank of England and UK Treasury, Dr Roger Gewolb.
Right, now, who's going to kick this one off? Shall we go to Danny first? What do you think? Has the government lost a grip on the cost of living?
Well, they were very pleased with themselves, weren't they, during the autumn statement with the announcement about the 2% cut to national insurance, which will start making working people feel like they've got a little bit more in their salaries from January. And the timing of that is very clever, of course, because it doesn't interfere with any other changes to prices, things like mobile phones. You know, normally we expect these things to come in April, but it's coming in January so that they can point to it and say, look at your December pay packet, look at your January pay packet, you've got a bit more. So I think some people will start to feel the benefit of that. But to be honest with you, we have seen taxes shoot up. Most of this is going to be offset by those tax increases, by that fiscal drag. And let's be clear, we're talking about inflation now only being at 4.6%, but that doesn't mean that prices are coming down. It just means they're not going up by as much as they were. And although food inflation is now below double digits, it's only just. So when you go to the supermarket, you are still finding that the price of your shop is still going up.
Roger, your views?
Well, I'm so puzzled how Danny and others are excited by getting £30 a month from the left hand while thousands are being taken out in tax from the right. This statement is the most cynical, self-serving act that the government could have done. There are videos going around about Rishi, having trouble with a hammer, but he's doing pretty well putting nails in their coffin, I think. There's so many things they could have done. They could have moved the tax thresholds forward and given us a bit of breathing space. They could have reduced fuel duty. They could have had since they claim to have halved inflation, which has actually nothing to do with them, they could have had the Bank of England start slowly to reduce interest rates. They did none of that. They took the money that they are going to get, as Danny said, from the increased taxes, which is going to be $50 billion in the next year or two, and they have bought off the business vote with it by giving stimuli and tax breaks to business. So I feel they don't desert the Tories because they are sick of them and go to Labour. They have used our money, we're paying for it, to buy the business vote. And I think if they feel that people don't see that and how they've really sealed their fate, I mean, it's malice in Blunderland, frankly. If they can't see that...
Malice in Blunderland.
Danny, do you want to respond to Roger's point there? And also, let's not forget, we had that autumn statement on Wednesday, and the very next day we were told about the energy price cap rising, which was going to cost families another £94 a year on average.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't disagree. This isn't a debate. The government is giving a little bit back, but you're absolutely right. They've already taken it away and then some. People are still very much feeling the squeeze. I think the timing of this January change to national insurance has a lot to do with the fact that the government didn't actually get credit for one of the things that they did, which made a huge difference to our lives last year, which was the energy price cap. And that is because, of course, we never saw energy bills go up to the point that they would have gone up without government intervention. And I think the government's feeling a little bit hard done by that we haven't really understood the impact that made. However, none of us is thinking about last year. We're all thinking about this year and about our finances going forward. And I don't think anyone has been bamboozled by what the government has done here. I think we've all got smarter about our finances. We know where every single penny is going. And if the government says we're giving you a tax cut, we want to make damn sure that they are. And frankly, this is not a tax cut.
It's all a bit of a con then, do you think?
Well, it is. And Danny mentions energy, and that's probably one of the biggest cons. Two-thirds of our home energy bills are electricity. And the price of our electricity through conventions going back to the 80s, frankly, is tied to the international market price of gas, which Putin manipulates and you know, goes up and down every day and is way more expensive than what our electricity actually costs us. If you go online to the national grid, you'll find a live clock, a real-time clock that shows you what we're using. Some days it shows that only 20% of our electricity comes from gas. The rest is our own North Sea gas, wind, nuclear, renewables, etc. We're paying however many more times than we need to. Experts estimate that we've paid £7 billion in the last 24 months unnecessarily for electricity going to these energy companies. Think tanks, at the time the average was about £2,800, some think tanks came out and said if they decoupled electricity from gas and charged what electricity really costs, it would take £1,500 off each individual home energy bill. And yet, everybody knows this. Boris said, let's do it. John Penrose, the MP, who invented the price cap and now says, by the way, it's no longer fit for purpose, said to do it. They've been told over and over again, not just this government, and they will not decouple them.
Well, look, we've got to leave it there. It's such a huge subject, but I'm afraid we've run out of time. And as Danny said, we're not just thinking about last year, we're thinking about the bills we've got to pay this winter and next year already. Hopefully we're not fools about this, but thank you very much both indeed for fascinating. Maybe it wasn't a debate, but certainly a discussion. At 8:37, it's time to go to the sport with Aidan.